Greetings, this is Fred in Alaska. If you're wondering why I'm in a rundown old little RV, I'm just checking it out. This is the location. Well, I'm on site at Jonathan's place. He was traveling the Alcan Highway in 76 or 78. He's in his late 70s now, so his exact date really irrelevant to what happened. So they had just cleared the Canadian border coming up to Alaska on the Alcan Highway. Now, when they got to he said it was the third rest area. He doesn't exactly remember. Him and his then wife, who divorced him shortly after this situation, were basically essentially sleeping right there. Newer mattress. He tried to start refurbishing a while back and gave up on it. Just too many memories ruined it for him. So they're at this rest stop, and they are, sorry, I had to shut off my phone. They are basically, they got done eating. They were chilling in here, just doing their thing. You know, it's back in the 70s, probably. No, upgraded from the 8-track that came with the thing. But anyway, so they were essentially laying down, chilling out, and listening to a radio, some AM station that they could pick up. Now, they weren't horribly far from Fairbanks, wherever there's a turnoff or something. It's been so many years since I've been up on the Alcan. Someone probably knows the answer to it, but so they're at this rest area chilling. They're mellowing out for the night. It is still early in the spring, so it's not like we have the daylight now, but it builds day by day at that time of year. Well, they were sitting here, and they noticed out this window here, dark shadows going back and forth a couple times. And so he jumps up. They didn't have any firearms. Back then you were allowed certain rifles, no handguns, I think, or something, but he had mailed everything. So he was coming up to work in the oil field and just bought a place and used this camper to bring the rest of his shit up. Now, as he was trying to investigate the movement outside the windows, this whole thing shakes, right? And it shakes, and it draws his attention to the back. Now, once he gets to the back, he said that right here, right in this area, that's why it was attempted to be rebuilt, this thing smashed its hand up through and was trying to pull essentially this whole area off, and commenced to banging and doing some other stuff. There was a hole put in the ceiling. I think he said that crack there came from it as well, this crack in the window. So essentially they started trying to open this thing like a fucking tin can. Now he's in his place right now. He after sharing it with me, and I went over it with them, you know, a couple times to make sure I had the proper information to share, to try to gauge their emotion whenever I can. Sometimes I just have to read the email and elaborate on certain things, like a twisty trail. Anyway, I digress. So instantly, where he's standing, he runs forward and grabs something off the stove and bashes the arm when it's tearing that shit, right? So he bangs the arm, it pulls its arm out, pushes against the place, and then I think that's when it tried to come through up there. It's been some of it's been changed out, and some of it has not. The old stuff is up in the front, and this part here was changed out some years back when he was doing the renovation. He's not keeping this. He's trying to rebuild. He's trying to rebuild it and kind of garner back to earlier days or whatever. But he just can't mess with it. So anyway, it tears this part up. It tries to come through there. Now they have no firearms whatsoever. All he had was some kind of frying pan, a small cast iron skillet, and he's running around banging, making a whole shit ton of noise as he's doing it. He himself tore down these open areas here. He tore the doors off of those, looking for an old machete he used for trailblazing. So he breaks all these down looking for it. He finds it, and he attempts to hack at it as when it was trying to get its hand in. It had broken up all this stuff up in here. I mean, all this was all replaced and tried to reseal and all that. You can see the under part here where he's been, he made his attempt at fixing it. Now, as this attack is going on, his wife at the time was under there. Don't blame her. No firearm. I would have been under there with her. Anyway, so he's running around hacking with the machete whenever it stuck its arm up and through. He felt it pulling this whole fucking thing, man. From where it was grabbing up in here, it was like pulling and moving the whole thing. The only thing that stopped them from moving any further was the fact it was in park. Not a happy feeling. So this is basically 10:30, 11 at night that this happens. Just as it was getting dark enough, still light in the sky, but dark everywhere else, right? In the tree lines especially. So the initial onslaught happens. He hacks away. All the hacking was where all this stuff has been replaced now. He tried to find the scraps in his garage of the hacked parts and whatnot, but I was like, I believe you. Don't worry. Just tell me what was going on. So as he hacks around, it was trying to pull the thing forward. It was trying to pull the top off, and for whatever reason, there was a high-pitched whistle off in the distance, and it ran off. Now, when it ran off, he heard other footsteps from just outside the doorway run off as well. Then it dawned on him that thing wasn't alone, and then thinking back, he wasn't even sure if it was the same one that stuck its arm through over here or what. It could have been a combination of the two. He was so freaked out. His ex wasn't a witness to any of it. As soon as shit started going sideways, she was under there. I think as soon as the hand broke through over here is when she got under there. Fuck that. Can you imagine having this fucking thing busting through the damn ceiling, fucking up this thing was brand new at the time. Fucked it all up. He fucked it up in here, and it fucked up trying to tear off this cab over. Man. See, I dealt with some freaky shit, but it wasn't, I shot through the wall, they stayed their distance. This fucking thing was trying to get them. So, forgive me, I'm sitting here reliving it through what he told me, and I'm just trying to imagine, holy fuck, man. It runs off. He hears another one run off. Now, as he's regrouping, trying to get her from out of under there, there's a howl going off in the very far distance, and then return growl howls, as he called them, in the near distance, just off into the tree line. Now, they're at a rest stop. There was another Ford pickup at that same rest stop. He saw the guy already in his single cab, old school 70s Ford, sleeping on the bench seat in the front. So he runs over to get this guy's attention. Guy's already sitting up, has his truck just started as he comes running up, and the guy jumps back like, what the fuck, you know? And he goes, we need your help, we need your help. These things attacked my RV. The guy said, I saw them run off, I'm fucking out of here, and just backs out on him and goes. So Jonathan's sitting there going, well, fuck. Runs back here because he didn't want to be left out in the woods. So he runs back over here. When he gets inside, she's back underneath because he wasn't in there and she didn't feel safe looking out the windows, right? Which I totally understand. Comes back in and is trying to put stuff. Took the old pads that usually go around in through here. Looks like he's got an old fucking glass unit there. Must be one of his, maybe it's his. Oh, no judgment, just notice that. So it's even got a Rick and Morty sticker on it. Hilarious. Anyway, so he's trying to stuff things. The old cushions that were here, you know, you can see the Velcro where they were held in place and whatnot. He's trying to stuff it to fill the holes. Now, he's got the machete, and I guess a couple of times when he was swinging, he had struck it at least once. That he can remember, but he was in a blind fury of fear and just whacking away and screaming and going off, right? So as he gets back in here and he's doing all this stuff, that howling has continued, not rhythmically or anything, but periodically he would hear the scream in the distance seem to get closer, and the screams returning the howl or whatever, howl, growl, seem to be congregated in one area. Now, he's sitting there and it dawns on him, I need to get the fuck out of here. And so he does what he has to do and fires up the rig. He backs out from where he was parked, and as he was pulling around to leave out of the rest area and hit the road again, he sees one of these things cross the road in front of him, and also sees one off into the, just off the side of the road at the tree line that didn't run after the other one. Did not tell anyone about it. He didn't even put in a claim for the insurance policy that he had for this thing through the dealership, because he was still making payments on it, and they had some form of insurance, not like, you know, we have today, but had a form of insurance he didn't even file a claim on. He actually almost lost this thing twice because he stopped making payments on it because of the memories of what happened. I only giggle because fuck the bank. Not what happened to him. So they get out of there and all that, but can you imagine being in here and something actively fucking attacking the roof, attacking the sides, ripping all this shit for you? Like, it wasn't trying to share berries. It wasn't trying to point out the fastest shortcuts to get to Fairbanks or wherever. It was here with an intent. And, you know, it still boggles me they would try to come through over here when there's all these single pane, thin ass fucking windows that are chintz. They're real chintzy. There's so many things with these creatures that boggle my mind. I just don't get. Oh, also right over here, it broke through right in this area here with its hand, when it started tearing up the thing. Anyway, it just dawned on me because I could see light out it. But Jesus, I wouldn't have wanted to be in here, especially with it actively tearing through. Like, holy shit. Watercolors for Donations is always running some kind of fundraiser for animals. Dave the Tech Guy, check out the website, Subarctic Alaska, Sasquatch.com. Excellent interactive map. Dave, I'll get with you on the exact location, as far as the pin in the map. Miguel, Sasquatch Theory, that's my boy. He's out there getting after it. And till the next one, thanks for joining me.